Hey everyone, I figured I'd make a vlog. I haven't posted this much on the channel in a long time, but I kind of want to give my thoughts on the recent news that broke out just hours ago, really. I mean, just today. Starting on July 19th, SmackDown is going to be moving to a live show on Tuesday night, right after Raw, for 2 hours, 8 to 10 live, with a distinct roster. Yes, the brand split is returning. How do I feel about this? Well, I thought a brand split would work a number of months ago when they were headed towards WrestleMania and past WrestleMania. We could be Shane was running one show, Stephanie was running the other show. I think it was a good idea, but since they kind of dropped the plot thread of McMahon versus McMahon and kind of wanted to see where they were going to go with it, it seems like I was both really happy and really scared because I've been wanting this brand split to happen for a long time. It's the right time to do it. And the rosters are deep enough. I was just doing this thing. I did like sort of a mock draft of what, who I would put on what brand. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. But I'm definitely going to hit some of the points here of what I would like to happen during this brand split and how business is going to go for this entire roster. It's good for the talent, for the boys, because one, they don't have to worry about doing TV, either SmackDown or Raw. It's a good thing because it'll have incentive to watch both shows. The bad thing is, though, it's going to be 5 hours of live content every week, plus pay-per-views, and the I guess you could call it an upside, more time for storylines to develop and more chances for guys to get a spotlight that they weren't initially doing because they were buried in the mid-card. So I think overall this could be really good for the company. They just have to do it right. They have to do it right and they have to do it smart. So really easy, Raw versus SmackDown with distinct rosters. Who would I have running either show? Well, I would basically make SmackDown a really cool version of... I would make SmackDown sort of the babyface show, as in Shane McMahon would be running it. And then Stephanie would be running Raw. Don't have her be big time heel just yet. But I think eventually turn her heel. Sort of have her be a neutral general manager character at this point. Obviously, Vince is going to be in charge of both shows. We all know that. And so the couple of the parameters that I would put in place during this. So first things first, Raw goes down to 2 hours. 3 hours is too long. They're probably not going to cut the Raw runtime down. But if I were Vince McMahon, I would cut the Raw runtime down because it's a little bit long every week to, fill 3 hours, even with the combined roster that they have now. Number two, these brand exclusive rosters really are brand exclusive. So you don't have Raw guys showing up on SmackDown and SmackDown guys showing up on Raw. The only times where you have SmackDown versus Raw matches, you make sure that you specifically say Raw and SmackDown, interpromotional matches, only on the big four pay-per-views. Spread out more pay-per-views or network specials on the network, because you have the ability to do the network now. More pay-per-views throughout the year to give viewers more bang for their buck. More brand-exclusive pay-per-views with more big storylines to develop for each brand. And then the big four pay-per-views, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and WrestleMania, you do SmackDown and Raw. But I think there needs to be a couple shows that are brand exclusive. So, what do you do? The women are going to float between both rosters. I might do a different version where I look at all of the women on the roster, and you could possibly split up the women on brands, but then, if you have one women's champion, it's very hard to, make women's things matter more, you know what I'm saying? So I would say that you keep the women's champion floating between both shows, and keep the women in general floating between both shows, because you don't want two women's titles. You definitely don't want to reinstate the Divas title, because that was no good. Maybe you institute a women's tag team title, so you could have the tag titles on one brand and the singles championship on one. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't really factor that in. So women float between the rosters. Oh, the part timers like Taker, Triple H, Lesnar, The Rock. If they're gonna work, they're only gonna work on Big Four pay-per-views, and they can pick opponents from either side, because it's a special match. Let's see. Oh, each brand has tag team champions. This is really important because we have such an abundance of tag teams right now that tag team wrestling needs to become a thing, especially with the good stuff that's happening in NXT and has been happening in NXT. I really think that these rosters need to put more emphasis on tag team wrestling and two sets of tag team champions. So the Raw tag team champions and the SmackDown tag team champions. Other than that, you bring back the World Heavyweight title, because the World Heavyweight title is my favorite belt. You keep the WWE Championship with Roman Reigns on SmackDown. On Raw. And you take the World Heavyweight Championship onto SmackDown and you put it on Dean Ambrose. Okay, so starting right from the top there, Roman Reigns is on Raw, Dean Ambrose is on SmackDown. Those are the two top guys right now, I think. And everyone else on that roster will be to bolster those two championships and those two guys. The U.S. Championship will be on Raw, and the IC Championship will be on SmackDown. IC Championship goes to Kevin Owens or The Miz. I have them both on SmackDown. And then the U.S. Championship is going to go to John Cena, but you have John Cena on Raw, you have Rusev on Raw. You have the New Day holding the Raw Tag Team Championships, and you have the Club, Gallows and Anderson, going to SmackDown with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And then after that, I pretty much split up a lot of the rest of the roster, just kind of 50-50. The one thing that I would do is I factored in a couple of the NXT guys that should be coming in. So guys like Baron Corbin, and I split up Baron Corbin on Raw, Apollo Crews on SmackDown, Enzo and Cass on Raw, and the Vaudevillains on SmackDown, the Lucha Dragons on SmackDown, Primo and Epico on SmackDown, the Ascension is going to be on Raw, the Social Outcasts, another tag team, will be on Raw, and some of the NXT guys. So come July, my assumption is Nakamura will be called up to main roster, and Samoa Joe and Finn Balor will be on the main roster. So I put Joe and Balor on SmackDown just because they could feud with each other, or they could go different ways, and just because I put Balor on SmackDown because I put AJ Styles and the rest of the Bullet Club on SmackDown, and we want to play with that. So put Nakamura on Raw, so it gives him a platform to really become a huge attraction. And the only other thing, I put like three guys on the backside of this that are really doing nothing. So let me think. So so I'll go over like my top 5 people on each roster. Roman Reigns on Raw. Well, on the Raw side, Roman Reigns as the champion, Seth Rollins, because he's obviously going to start a feud with Roman Reigns. Cena as the U.S. champion, Rusev, the Dudley Boys, Enzo and Cass, the New Day, Cesaro. Oh, and one other thing. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, I put them on separate brands. Why? Because, the Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn thing should feel special. It shouldn't be a thing that's happening every week. So we separate them for now. So Kevin Owens on SmackDown with the IC Championship, Sami Zayn on Raw. And eventually, at SummerSlam or a WrestleMania, they can have a Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens match. And it'll be really good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I would put Randy Orton when he comes back from injury on SmackDown, just because I have, you know, and I put Jericho on SmackDown. So honestly, my SmackDown roster is really it's kind of stacked. I mean, I have the Wyatt family on SmackDown. They're hurting right now, obviously. Um, but yeah, and then everyone else just kind of splits up. I mean, you give Tyler Breeze and Baron Corbin a chance to kind of do a little something in the mid card. And get a little bit more spotlight on them. And I think this brand split will be good for the company. And that's really my thoughts. They should do this the right way, and I think you should have another world championship, just like you had before with the world heavyweight title. And like I said, the 2 tag team championships are uber important. Instead of making them the WWE, the integrated WCW championships, the World Tag Team Championships and the WWE Tag Team Championships, you make them Raw Tag Team Champs, SmackDown Tag Team Champions. On TV, there's no intermingling between superstars, unless it's a build-up to a WrestleMania match where it's a SmackDown versus Raw feel. And so yeah, that's my thoughts. So thanks for watching this little vlog, and I will see you in the next episode of the WrestleCast, whenever that is. Just kind of want to give my 2 cents on this. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good thing for the company. So stay tuned for the next episode and the next video. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I will see you later.